It's 7:42 a.m. Your child has already asked you the same question 3 times. They can't find their shoes. They started getting dressed, but now they're building something out of Legos. You remind them again. Nothing changes. Your voice gets sharper. They snap back, or maybe they freeze. Or maybe they completely melt down. And later, after the chaos, you sit there wondering, is this anxiety? Is this ADHD? Or am I just failing at this? Because here's the confusing part. Anxiety and ADHD can look almost identical. Avoidance, emotional outbursts, trouble focusing, procrastination, shutting down. But the reason behind those behaviors, completely different. And if we treat anxiety like ADHD or ADHD like anxiety, what we try next will keep failing. It's not that your child isn't trying. It's not that you're not trying. It's that you may be solving the wrong problem. Today, we're going to untangle this. By the end, you'll understand what's actually happening in your child's brain, why your reactions sometimes make it worse, and how to respond in a way that truly helps. But first, we need to talk about something uncomfortable. There's a silent guilt that a lot of parents carry. You see your child struggling, overwhelmed, distracted, exploding over things that seem small, and a voice whispers, "Why can't they just handle it?" And then immediately, "Why can't I handle it better?" Most of us were not raised with emotional clarity. We were raised with, "Stop crying, calm down, focus, try harder." So when our kids struggle with focus or big emotions, our nervous system reacts before our wisdom does. This is the shared struggle. We want to raise kids differently than we were raised, but when stress hits, our brain defaults to survival mode. And there is a specific neurological reason why your child reacts the way they do, and why you react the way you do. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because anxiety and ADHD don't just change behavior. They change how the brain processes threat, time, and control. And here's the twist. Anxious children often look distracted. ADHD children often look anxious. So let's talk about the brain. Anxiety lives in the alarm system. Deep in the brain is a structure called the amygdala. Think of it as a smoke detector. Its job is simple: detect danger, sound the alarm, prepare for survival. In an anxious child, that smoke detector is overly sensitive. It doesn't just go off for fire, it goes off for a spelling test, a new classroom, a loud noise, a small mistake, even your tone changing slightly. When that alarm activates, the thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes partially offline. So when your anxious child says, "I can't do it," they often mean, "My body feels like I'm in danger," not "I don't care." That distinction changes everything. Now let's look at ADHD. ADHD is not primarily about fear. It's about regulation of attention and motivation. The ADHD brain is interest-based, not importance-based. Let me say that again. It is interest-based, not importance-based. That's why your child can hyper-focus on video games for 2 hours, but can't start a 5-minute worksheet. It's not laziness, it's dopamine. The ADHD brain struggles to generate enough dopamine for low-interest, delayed-reward tasks. So when you say, "just focus," what their brain hears is, "generate chemistry you don't currently have access to." Now here's why this gets confusing. Both anxiety and ADHD can cause procrastination, emotional outbursts, avoidance, overwhelm. But anxiety avoids to reduce threat. ADHD delays because of activation paralysis. Anxiety says, "This feels dangerous." ADHD says, "This feels impossible to start." And sometimes they overlap. An ADHD child can develop anxiety from constantly feeling behind. An anxious child can look distracted because fear hijacks focus. That's why mislabeling matters. If you treat anxiety with pressure, you increase fear. If you treat ADHD with reassurance alone, you don't solve the activation gap. So let me tell you about Ethan. He's 9, bright, creative, funny. Every afternoon, homework turns into a battle. "Start your math." "In a minute." 5 minutes later, he's sharpening his pencil, then staring at the wall, then melting down. Some days he says, "I'm stupid." His parents thought it was anxiety, so they reassured him constantly. Nothing changed. Then they tried stricter discipline. It got worse. Here's what was really happening. When Ethan looked at the worksheet, his brain didn't scream, "Danger." It went flat. Understimulated. No ignition. He wasn't avoiding fear. He couldn't activate. And the longer he sat there, unable to start, the more shame built up. That shame created anxiety. Secondary anxiety, not the root cause. When his parents shifted the question from, "Why won't you do it?" to, "What makes it easier to start?" everything changed. They set a 3-minute timer. Just one problem. They sat beside him quietly. They shrank the entry point, and he could begin. Activation support, not pressure. And the anxiety slowly decreased because success builds safety. So here's the framework, the 4-pillar method. Pillar 1, the mindset shift. Stop asking, "What's wrong?" Start asking, "What's driving this?" Is it fear, or is it activation struggle? Regulation is contagious. If you escalate, the alarm gets louder. If you pause, the system can settle. Pillar 2, the in-the-moment response. If it's anxiety, lower threat, calm tone, short sentences, reduce stimulation, help the body feel safe. If it's ADHD, increase activation, shrink the task, make the first step visible, add structure, add urgency through play. Anxiety needs safety, ADHD needs ignition. Mix those up and you stay stuck. Pillar 3, long-term connection. After the meltdown, explore gently. What happens in your body before you shut down? Teach anxious kids body awareness. Teach ADHD kids task mapping. Externalize the struggle. Instead of, "You are anxious," say, "Your brain sometimes hits the alarm." Instead of, "You're unfocused," say, "Your brain sometimes has trouble starting." That separation reduces shame, and shame fuels both spirals. Pillar 4, when you fail, because you will. You'll misread the moment. You'll react too fast. Repair matters more than rupture. Go back and say, "I think I misunderstood earlier. I'm learning too." Children don't need perfect parents. They need repeated repair. Now, maybe you're thinking, what if my child doesn't respond? Consistency builds trust. The goal isn't instant compliance, it's long-term regulation. Maybe you're thinking, I don't have time for this. You're already spending the time in arguments and emotional fallout. This method redistributes the time. Less escalation, more clarity. And sometimes it's both. ADHD and anxiety often overlap, so observe patterns. What happens first? Fear or inability to activate? Track the sequence. The root cause becomes clearer. Now zoom out. Fast forward 10 years. Your child is 19. They sit across from you and say, "I used to struggle, but you helped me understand my brain." That's the goal. Not perfect mornings, not flawless grades, but a child who doesn't equate struggle with shame. Because the real danger isn't distraction, it isn't worry, it's identity damage. It's the story that says, "There's something wrong with me." And you have more power than you think in shaping that story. When you respond with curiosity instead of criticism, when you repair instead of withdraw, when you look for the driver instead of attacking the behavior, you break a generational pattern. You raise a child who feels seen. You don't have to do this perfectly, you just have to stay. Stay curious, stay learning, stay present. And calm is contagious. I'll see you in the next one.